Well, no conventions this summer, but that doesn't mean we still can't have convention panels. That's what the internet is for. Well, that and many other things, some of which we can't talk about in a family-friendly environment. But the point is, Legendary did manage to post something to whet our appetites for the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong. It's still not a trailer, we all just need to be patient as we wait, but I think what we got is still very intriguing. Now, I don't want to step on any toes, so I encourage you all to go and watch this panel for yourselves. I'll provide a link in the description. Bear in mind it is half an hour long, so you'll want to set aside some time to watch it. But I do still think it's worth alerting you to the existence of this panel, what's discussed on it, and what my thoughts are on the things that are revealed. So in order, we get 3 different announcements. First are the graphic novel prequels to Godzilla vs. Kong. And yes, I said prequels, plural. There will be one for Godzilla, and there will be one for Kong. I know I haven't publicly voiced this, but I was wondering if they were going to go that route, considering this is a crossover where we have 2 major characters from, I guess you could technically say 2 different series, even though Kong Skull Island is only the one film. I was wondering if they would have a graphic novel prequel for each character, and turns out that's exactly what they're doing. We don't have titles yet. I haven't seen the titles posted anywhere, and I didn't hear them mentioned here. But we do know that each one of our protagonist monsters is getting their own prequel. For Godzilla, apparently it's going to be 100% from Godzilla's perspective, or at least 95%. None of the art they show, by the way, is final. None of the art they showed from this Godzilla one indicated any humans present, but it's going to be mostly from Godzilla's perspective, even if there are humans. So we're going to finally get our pure, unfiltered look into Godzilla's world, which I know a lot of fans have always been intrigued to see. And there have been previous comics that did that. Godzilla in Hell from IDW, that's a great example. That was a story that was pure kaiju from start to finish, in a very surreal manner, mind you, because of the setting, but even so, it was still a pure kaiju movie, and not kaiju movie, kaiju book. And it did set the idea in mind that, yeah, something like that actually could work. You can tell a giant monster story without people, potentially. Not that you should necessarily have that be the norm, but it can be done, and it can be done really well. Godzilla in Hell had its flaws, of course, but we can discuss that another day. This prequel graphic novel for Godzilla is going to be a pure Godzilla story in that case. And that definitely has me intrigued. The Kong graphic novel will have people in it. And it's also where we'll see Camazotz, seen here as he was meant to be seen for the very first time. He is a really gnarly looking bat, far more than that initial teaser image ever indicated. And based on the interview with the creative team, he apparently is supposed to represent darkness. And I find that interesting, not because it's a monster that represents darkness. I mean, that's pretty common when you think about it, and for a bat, it's obvious. But it intrigues me because it tells me that these are people who really do understand what they're dealing with. They're not just writing stories of big monster smash things. They are telling stories where the monsters are characters, they are allegories. So that gives me a little faith, at least in the prequels, that we're going to get some good stuff. Camazotz, of course, I like the design. It's far less bat-like than that first image was, because it's got horns, the wings are all shredded, or at least they appear to be right now. I don't know, of course, if Camazotz is going to be a recurring villain throughout the story, or if he's just going to be in a flashback, or if he's going to be there for part of it, but not the rest of it. I would kind of be surprised if they didn't make more use of him than just having him be flavor. But still, interested to see where it goes. We also get a slightly clearer look at the older Kong, though really I don't think there's any new information added here. We just get a better look at what his beard looks like, any sort of changes that might have come in with the passing of years. Like I said, not much new information there, but still, it's a clearer look and with the colors that he's meant to be seen in, as opposed to the bright orange and blue of the banner that's been hanging over us for so long. I understand the trial of waiting for this trailer, I really do, but we just gotta be patient. And of course, we also get the credentials for the creative team of each book. They get to share their thoughts on what it's like writing these stories, what their thoughts are on the MONSTERVERSE and the Kaiju series as a whole, and it fills me with hope that they really do have people on these works, on these projects, that are passionate about the series. You need people who actually want to be there to make the stuff that you want to make. Otherwise, you're not going to wind up with something very good. That's just the way it goes sometimes. While there are images for the Godzilla and Kong graphic novels, there aren't any images yet for the Kong picture book that they're writing. Yes, there's also going to be a picture book, obviously for younger audiences, but they again brought in some talented people to work on it, and we don't have much detail on this. Apparently this was, as the panel runner puts it, the ink is barely dry on the contract, so this is really fresh. This is something they're just starting out on, or at the very least, they are in the beginning stages of it. So we don't have much information there. I believe that this is separate from the other announced children's book, Godzilla vs. Kong, Sometimes Friends Fight, But They Always Make Up. So, what will it be about? Who will be in it? Will it officially tie into the story, or will it be a standalone? I have no idea. I'm just informing you that it exists, and if you want to know the details, again, go and watch the panel. And the last part of the panel was about the Art of Godzilla vs. Kong book, with the author of that. We now know, of course, we knew that it was going to be out for a while, that was announced way back, but we now know that it is going to be both the art of and the making of, sort of like the other books in these series have been. Like Art of Godzilla, Art of Kong Skull Island, Art of King of the Monsters. They served as both art of books and making of books, so they had some of those behind-the-scenes details. So we can expect the same for Godzilla vs. Kong's art book. And other than that, again, I would recommend going and watching the panel to get the full details from the guy who's writing it. And there you have it. Finally, some news we can sink our teeth into. I mean, I realize it's still not a trailer, and without that trailer, it still feels like the movie keeps getting further and further away instead of drawing nearer and nearer. But even a drop of water is a godsend to a thirsty man in the desert. So, I'll take this. I definitely am looking forward to seeing how these play out. I mean, the prequel graphic novels of the MONSTERVERSE, you've seen my reviews. I don't think they're perfect, but I do think they're interesting. And considering the new stuff that's going to be in there, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it all. Like I said, there'll be a link down in the description. Go check out the panel for yourselves. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.